All right, guys, we got Sophia Stewart here today. Sophia, I got a interesting question to start off with.
Okay, excellent.
You ready for this?
Yes, I am.
Blue pill or red pill?
Yes, I'm going to tell you what that's all about. I created that. It's in my book, The Third Eye, Matrix and Terminator book, the first book that I wrote, copyrighted script. What I'm talking about is the machines versus God's children, the humans. When you cut us, we are bleeding red blood come out of us. But the machines is blue and black ink, or it's blue and black with the lead or pencil or the black ink pen. What it's talking about, if you take the red pill, you can see how deep the rabbit hole of truth goes. But if you take the blue pill, like Cypher, you already know that you're dying and killing for the lie. You know, you're not eating a steak, you're eating mush, but there are people who accept the truth, and there's those who accept the lie. That's what's going on here. So that's what it means when you have the choice to deal with the truth, or you have a choice to deal with a lie. Go back to sleep, enjoy the lie, and keep it moving. Or take this red pill and see how deep the rabbit hole of truth goes, because as long as you dig, you're going to find more and more of the truth.
I would have taken the red pill then.
Yes, I'm a red pillar myself, and I'm a speaker and giver of truth.
I love that. How'd you come up with the idea for the Matrix and the Terminator?
It was very easy. I'm a New Yorker. I went and saw Star Wars. Star Wars, when I was a kid in New York City growing up, we used to go to the Apollo on 125th Street. So the Sutton brothers had bought it, and we saw all the musical acts there. And in the daytime, they had it as a movie theater. And I saw on the mannequin that Star Wars. And when I went and saw it, Lucas, I didn't know Lucas was the owner. I knew he was the director because it said 20th Century Fox. He's the director. But Star Wars, to me, of reading the Bible, was the wars in heaven. And it was talking about Darth Vader, the devil, how he fell from the light side to the dark side. And Luke and Leia was his children. And Lucas later on confirmed this. He was talking about it on YouTube, what he had written. So I thought, well, what about the second coming of the Christ? What if he comes back again? What is going to be happening on earth when he comes back? So when you see the Terminator, I wrote it in science fiction form, not biblical, but spiritual, metaphysical. That's what I wrote in terms of in science fiction. Quantum physics, calculus, ancient sacred geometry, the universal language is mathematics. But look, when you hear the oracle's prophecy, this is in the book called The Third Eye, Matrix and Terminator. When you hear the oracle's prophecy that a baby is going to be born that's going to take out the machines in the future when they enslave mankind. So the machines hear the oracle's prophecy, and they know that Sarah Connor is destined, because Terminator and Matrix are one epic story divided into two different franchises. So when the machines, which are in the future, enslaving man, they know they have to time travel to kill Sarah Connor, because Sarah Connor is the one that's going to have the baby, the one, Neo, N-E-O-O-N-E. You see what it's an anagram for the one. And John the Revelator was the only one to call Jesus the one. The Matrix is mentioned 5 times in Scripture in the King James's Bible. Anyone can Google this while I'm speaking. 3 times in Exodus, 2 times in Numbers. So he time traveled, wrapped in flesh, killed but cannot be killed, because I say in the future that the machines are going to be born in the laboratory, living amoebas, soulless, seedless. But this one is wrapped in flesh. He looks just like us. He's a Terminator, because Terminator End Time Revelation is where the prophecy comes that the second coming of the Christ, JC, John Connors, Jesus Christ, grows up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix. The Matrix is a 7,000-year-old Latin word for the woman's womb, her stargate, her portal to bring babies into this physical.
Are you tired of ordering on a menu in a different country only to be served snails? Why not actually speak the language and order what you want? That's where Babbel comes in. Speak like a whole new you with Babbel, the science-backed language learning app that gets you talking. Wasting hundreds of dollars on private tutors is the old school way of learning a new language. Babbel's 10-minute lessons are quick and handcrafted by over 200 language experts, ready to get you talking your way to a new language in just 3 weeks. because talking is the key to really knowing any language. Babbel's advanced speech recognition is like having a personal language guru in your pocket, massaging your pronunciation whenever you open your mouth. With Babbel, you can learn everything you need from vocabulary to culture while holding your own in conversation with anybody. All it takes is just about 10 minutes a day. It's designed by real people for having real conversations, and it gets you talking. I've been going to a lot of Spanish-speaking countries over the last few months, and Babbel has come in clutch. I now know how to order food and ask where the restroom is when I travel. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/social hour. That's 60% off at babbel.com/social hour, spelled BABBEL.com/social hour. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Cool domain called the earth. You cannot come here unless you come out of a woman. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the woman has the matrix. So every woman is the mother of her matrix, the mother of her womb. Now, Kyle Reese, one of the rebels battling with the machines, the Terminators, in the future, hears the same oracle prophecy, and he knows that he has to time travel to save Sarah Connor from the machines so they won't terminate her. So what happens is that when they get there, they're time traveling, past, present, and future time travel. Now, when you look at the Bible is the same thing. When you look at the Old Testament, that's our past. When you look at the New Testament, right here, right now, that's our present. When you look at Revelations, which is very hard to determine or understand, that is what our future or what we will become, the future. So now the machines are landing naked without shame. Go back in the Terminator. Mm-hmm. They come through a burning blue portal. He lands naked without shame. He has no shame because he has no seed, no soul. He's a machine wrapped in flesh. But Kyle Reese, he's a living being. Where we said about the red and the blue.
Yeah.
When you cut him, he's bleeding blood. So he's going to go automatically and put some clothes on, because what do we do when we come through our mother's womb? We come in naked without shame. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Yeah.
You don't even know you're naked till somebody tells you that you're naked. So now Kyle Reese comes and he, like I told you, he puts some clothes on, but the Terminator, someone has to tell him to go put some clothes on. Mm. You see? That's why he knows to put clothes on. And then he's looking to kill her. But Kyle Reese is looking to protect her. And what does he do? He inadvertently falls in love with her while he's protecting her, gets her pregnant with the one. Mm. And then he has to time travel back to the past. To the future, because that's where he come from. He can't stay in the past. He goes back, but now it's the Immaculate Conception. She's pregnant with a baby. You see what I'm talking about? But where's the man that she fell in love? It was just like she was with a spirit or something, because he no longer is on the earth where she's at. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's almost like the Immaculate Conception, like the first authors that wrote in the Bible, the first coming of the Christ. But now this is the second coming of Christ, because why does the Christ have to come back? Mm. Because man created their new babies, the machines. And what are the machines? The test tube babies, the petri dish babies, the artificial inseminated babies, the clones, the drones, the gender benders, the gender manipulated. But what are they? They're created in the lab by man. They're living amoebas, but they're seedless and they're soulless. Mm. So they have a beginning and an end. But everything that God creates has a seed of continuation, meaning it comes back again and again.
Yeah.
So look, H.G. Wells, born in the Iron Age, he saw machines, robots as metal clankety clink. Go back and look at all the 60s and Star Wars in the 70s. What are they? They're metal robots. Mm-hmm. But I'm born in the digital age, so I see the machines, like I just described to you, looking like us, wrapped in flesh. They're drones, they're clones, they're test tube, petri dish. Do you know what a petri dish or a test tube baby or a clone, how they're created? Go in Revelations, go in Genesis. the word Genesis is an anagram for its genes. Flip it around, Genesis, Genesis, but flip it back around and it's two words. It's Isgenes. So Genesis is genes. And what is it talking about in Genesis, which is genes? It's talking about cloning. Because what is the cloning part? It tells you when Eve is pulled from the ribs of Adam. Well, they were not talking about a man, which is an Adama. They were actually talking about a atom, atom, atom. Because when you splice an atom, you're cloning. If you look at the old black and white movie called The Body Snatchers, I know a lot of you are familiar with it, but go back and look at the black and white one because they have different variations of the movie, some of them in color, but you want to look at the very first one. In it, they're cloning the people and they're killing the ones with the seed, and their clone is taking its place like we're doing now. We had clone animals, clone horses. Look at 60 Minutes where the polo player cloned his horse 127 times because of the memory chip in the horse before he died was winning. So when you clone a horse, you take a female's egg, you take what you call the needle, what you put the
Syringe?
The syringe, where you put the DNA of the horse in the syringe. You take the female horse's egg and you insert it through the syringe, the DNA from the horse, because he's dead.
Yeah.
And then you put it in a surrogate female horse in her womb, or matrix. And this is how she will begin to clone numerous horses. But they don't live very long. So when one horse turned to the right, they're mimicking. All the clone horses turn to the right.
Wow.
If one clone horse turned to the left, all of them. But you can see this on 60 Minutes. Because they ask him, the reporter, well, why did you clone 127 horses? Did you give them any names? He said, I didn't need to. It's a memory chip. I'm out to win every race. So you got clones walking around now. Now they start cloning the sheeps. They start cloning goats and all kinds of stuff here.
Yeah.
But you have clones, humans too, but they don't talk about that.
You think so?
Yeah, of course. You can tell a clone because, look, a clone is mimicking. And they cannot go past the year they were cloned. Because, see, it's a memory chip. Take, for instance, you're in 2024 right now.
Yep.
Say they clone you and then they killed you. Well, you can't talk about anything in 2025. You can't even process anything in 2025, 2026, because your memory chip only went up to 2024. So all you're going to talk about is from the moment your memory chip was born in you up until when you passed away and your clone has that chip.
Got it.
So now all the clone is doing is mimicking everything up to 2024.
Yeah.
So when you see people and they're talking and they time out, have you seen that? Where
there's certain theories
time out?
that celebrities are cloned, right? Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Well, they say that Eminem is cloned. They say Al Roker is cloned because they timed out. You see Shaq timing out. You go back on YouTube and you actually see these people. Katy Perry timed out.
I've seen the Katy one.
Yeah, she timed out, and she was just Mitch McCullen or whatever, the senator, he timed out, and his handler had to actually take him away from the podium. Do you remember seeing that?
I didn't see that one, actually.
Well, you can actually go on YouTube and you can see the whole process, and it's so bizarre.
Wow.
Have you ever seen the rest of them time out on YouTube?
Which one?
Shaq timing out, Al Roker timing out, Eminem timing out?
No, I haven't seen those.
Oh, you can go to YouTube. People can pull up right now and go to YouTube and look at them time out. Because what happens is they freeze up and they get stuck and they don't move for a long time before they start moving. I guess I should have told, some of the people here that, is responsible for this interview. If they had looked at and had you to look that up, it would have been just phenomenal for you to see that. Because people don't understand how phenomenal a clone is. A clone is a copy of you. When I said to go look at the old black and white body snatcher movies, you see that they put this pod right beside them, and then all of a sudden you see these bubbles bubbling up. Well, these bubbles and necessitating and splicing and splitting, they're atoms, ATOM, and what they're doing is they're creating the body. Do you say? Now, once they have created the body, this is all in my books. I've written 4 books on Matrix and Terminator. They're on Amazon, they're on Barnes and Nobles, Nook Press. They're all over platforms. People have to get them because I'm giving the details that the movies do not give you. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you look at it, you see these bubbles, but these atoms, and they are all creating the body, which is a physical vehicle, but it's a living amoeba. Do you see? But it's seedless and it's soulless. Because look, when we have babies in the Matrix, a woman, God's children are 3D, 3-dimensional beings. Look, blood, water, and spirit. That's the period for a woman. Blood, water, and spirit. Now, the doctor will not perform an abortion up until the 11th week. He won't 11 weeks. He won't go to the 12th weeks because he's killing a living soul. Because the seed of continuation attaches to the other 2 bodies, blood, water, and spirit. Spirit is the first body. The physical body, transportation, takes 9 months or 36 weeks for it to grow in the woman's matrix womb. The third body, which is the seed of continuation, that everything that God creates, look, the apple seeds, oranges, people, seeds, God's children, come back again and again and again. But what are you eating that is a seedless apple, a seedless lemon, a seedless grape? The animals and the insects, the dogs, they won't touch it. They won't eat it. But we're eating seedless watermelon, seedless grapes, all the things with no seeds. If you don't have any seed, it won't grow again. Look, I'm eating an apple. I spit out the seeds. The water, rain comes, wash it away. It may go a long ways, then it'll take root, and then apple trees will pop up.
Right.
You see, without our help. It doesn't need our help. The earth all over keeps replenishing itself because of the seed. So now let's go back to what I'm talking about. When you don't have a seed, they call it a GMO, right?
Yeah.
But when we're eating natural stuff, because the woman ate from the dirt of the earth, and what did she eat from the earth? She ate the vegetables, she ate the plants, the fruits, the insects, the animals. Do you see? They all come from the dirt.
Yep.
And when they die, they all return back to the dirt, and they go on and on again. Now, in the movie, like I told you, the old black and white movie of the body snatchers, to determine who had a seed or a soul, they would have someone jump off of a building. If someone jumps off the building and kills themselves, we that have seeds and souls, we have compassion, we have love. We're going to scream. But if you don't have a seed or a soul, you have no compassion, no love. So you say, jump, jump. And when somebody dies, you don't care. Because you have no seed, no soul of compassion. This is where love comes from. And they were talking about selling your soul.
Yeah.
Well, if you sell your soul, Now you have nothing but an empty spot, an empty cold spot, and all you want to do is commit. That's why a lot of people, when they acquire, make contracts, and they give up love and compassion and desire and feelings, you might have all the money in the world, you may have all the materialistic things in the world, but you can't enjoy the food, the love, the sex, all the wonderful things that we need, love and compassion. We need a heart. We need to feel. We need to touch the 5 or 6 senses.
Yeah.
All of that's gone. So the Matrix is unplugging you and telling you what revelation cannot explain to you, the message of God. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's telling you to unplug from the programming, because you're being programmed. What happens when something bad happens in the news? Something bad happens in the news, you're focused on that. You're going to crack the codes on that. That's why the new book that I got out is called Matrix 4 Evolution, Cracking the Codes. But what do? Something come out in the news about Diddy, sex trafficking, but then, look, you're focused on that. You're going to crack the codes on that. The whole world is focused here in the USA. Then all of a sudden, a ship hits a bridge. What does it do? It shifts your focus from that to that distraction. Now, this is more important because a ship hitting a bridge, they can't deliver the food and all the stuff that's on that ship. Do you see?
Yeah.
But look, 30,000 people maybe travels that bridge every day. But wait a minute, only 6 people die? But your distraction is that ship and the bridge, but you were focused on something else. And you need to look at that, because that's the Matrix. Every time something comes out where you're going to crack a code, it certain is removed and your focus is put here. You never thought about that, huh?
Recently, I have been looking at distractions.
Yeah, but did you figure out?
Took me 24 years.
Well, it's okay, because look, you are a millennial, right?
I used to believe everything on the news.
Right,
growing up.
But the news is owned by man.
Yeah.
So what does a man say when he owns news? He said, you're going to believe, you're going to see what I want you to see, what I want you to believe. Because he owns the media. Not the people, but man. So this is why. There were teachers that I had when I was in school, and I'm a prodigy. Prodigies are greater than geniuses.
Wow.
Geniuses are common. Prodigies crack codes. Let me give you an example of a prodigy. A little girl, 12 years old, she gets her degree and she go work for NASA. Why? Because she's cracking codes with math. The universal language is mathematics. I didn't do any high school, didn't need it. Got the degree, got the diploma given to me because I took the New York Regents, went into college, got the degrees.
At 12?
Not at 12.
Oh.
I was a little older, but my point is it doesn't matter about a prodigy. A prodigy can be 12 years old. A prodigy can be a teenager, 14, 15, 17.
Yeah.
But they're different from the others because they got their degrees earlier. I could have got my master's and degree at the same time. Because prodigies crack codes. Like I can crack the codes and extract knowledge that you're hiding. I can crack the codes on, where you have banks and stuff like that, or knowledge. And we know a lot of stuff. If you're reading, and I bet you have not read not one of the books where the movies come from.
I haven't actually. I've seen all the movies though.
Yeah, but guess what? Lords of the Ring book, the late J.R. Tolkien's Lords of the Ring movie, The Maze book, the Maze movie. The Gravity book, the Gravity movie. The Third Eye Matrix and Terminator book, the movies. All movies and franchises come from copyrighted scripts and copyrighted books.
Right.
Now, the film, you didn't write anything with a film. You got a camera. You're a millennial. You can go right now and take your camera and go out there and film a movie with Apple iPhone.
Yeah.
You didn't write anything.
Yeah.
You didn't create the source work. That's where everything come from, a source. So if I have a copyrighted book and a copyrighted script and it's adapted into a movie, that's where the movies come from.
Right.
But I wrote the source work. And what is the source work? It may be 282 pages. So that means I can get a lot of movies out of there because movies are no more than 1 hour and 36 minutes. No more than 2 hours and 15 minutes. But you're not writing. The director is shooting a film called a derivative. And it's a film. They're creating the derivative. Look, I'm the mother. And I just had twin babies. And someone comes in and kidnaps the babies. But the babies are derivative derived from me. I'm the source. They're secondary. They're not primary. I'm primary because I came first. They're secondary. So they can't be greater than me. They can't be greater than the source. A film cannot be greater than the source.
Right.
So when people hear about movies, they go and read the books. Why? Because they're going to get more details.
Right.
They're going to get more knowledge. They're going to be very astute. So when they're speaking, they got both sides now. Wow, your book is incredible. The knowledge I got from it, the movies only have a spectrum of it because it's not the source.
Right. So were your books, because there's 4 Matrix movies, right?
It's several Matrix. Well, now it's 4 Matrix movie. It used to be a trilogy, but the 4th one, Regurgitation, Resuscitation, Resurrection, is garbage.
I didn't like it.
It's not the Matrix.
It seems so like Hollywood.
It is Hollywood because you know what Hollywood think? Hollywood think if I put the generic word Matrix, the word Matrix is generic. Just like cola is a generic. But if you're criminally copywriting or criminally stealing, you would be counterfeiting Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, Shasta Cola,
Yeah.
RC Cola. See? But if anybody, I can create my own right here and call it a cola, a different kind of cola. I can use this name, use another name. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But you're not infringing because you're using
Different
the
name.
generic. No, you're using the generic.
Oh.
Because the word Matrix is generic.
Right. You can't trademark a word.
You can't trademark, but you can the Matrix. I trademarked, and I can show you better than I can tell you, I trademarked the Matrix.
Oh, okay.
I trademarked the Terminator. But the people who didn't know this, they thought that you could trademark a generic. You can't trademark a generic.
Right.
The word cola, everybody can use cola. Everyone can use Matrix, but it's not the Matrix with Morpheus, Neo, Trinity. What you saw was the actors. And John Wick, Tiffany with a husband and 2 children. That's not Trinity. You didn't see Niobe. You saw some old woman with dreads with another name.
Yeah.
You didn't see the logo where the numbers are raining down, the binary codes of the machines, the 1 and the 0. You didn't see any logos at all. You didn't see Morpheus. You saw a naked man with the Joker's old suit on.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right. I did not like the 4th movie.
Well, people were asking for their money back.
Yeah,
because-
I would have too.
Well, yeah, because I'm getting ready to come out with Warner Brothers and then with the original 4th and 5th installment of The Matrix. The bankers have already told me once the contract is in place, they will finance these movies.
Nice.
The real one is anywhere, it's $150 million. William Morrison's line producers went in and determined that to make the fifth installment and the fourth installment one in together now, because the fourth and fifth has been missing from the fans. And it's millions of fans globally. We're talking about over 100 million Matrix and Terminator fans globally around the world. Reading the Third Eye Matrix and Terminator book, because there's 4 books. Anybody can Google right now. 3 of my books are on Amazon selling right now. This is a continuation. And look, over 1,000 reviews, because, you know, Amazon has much more of the reviews, but they can only put up whatever they want to.
Yeah.
But when you read the 1,000 reviews, there is no doubt that I am the creator and the owner of Matrix and Terminator. I won in 2014. 2014 is 2024 now, 10 years ago. But you would not know that because nobody's telling you. You see what I'm saying?
They suppressed it.
They didn't really suppress it. They put a lot of lies and innuendos on the internet.
Right.
The internet is a distribution platform for you to make money, but they're gossiping on it and spreading rumors, lies, and innuendos. You can't sue anybody for slander or defamation on the internet.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But if you go to the news archive and you go to the library archives, microfinch, you're going to see in all the news that they're acknowledging that I won.
Wow.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But how many people go and check the news archives?
No one.
They go to the internet.
For sure.
So if you want to sway anybody, you want to lie to anybody, you want to sell something, the distribution platform.
Right. So that brings up the Wachowski brothers then, right?
Yes. Now, when I filed, I won 2 default judgments. I was my own attorney. I got a degree in law. I'm my own attorney.
Wow.
And you know how many law firms I beat? And I can give you the transcript so you can see it with your own eyes.
Wow. You really are a prodigy then.
Oh, yeah, because look, they went to school longer than I did for law. Let me tell you how to get a law degree to become a lawyer. You have to have any degree that's 4 years. Any degree. You got to go to law school to get your JD for 3 years. Then you got to take the bar. And the bar might take you 2 or 3 years, depending if you're taking the bar for California or you're taking the bar for New York. If you're taking the bar for New York or California, you're going to make a lot of money. So they're going to make it very, very difficult for you to get that license to practice on people. That's why it's called a law practice, because they're practicing on you. And what is the doctor practice called? It's called a medical practice, because what? Guess what? The doctor is practicing medicine on
Wow.
you.
I never looked at it from that point of view. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's why it's called a law practice. They didn't guarantee you they're going to you or heal you. They said they were going to practice on you.
Right.
The lawyers didn't say they were going to win your case. They just said they were going to practice on you, and they're going to get as much money as they can.
Crazy.
Now, let's go back to me. You see, I'm a prodigy because what did I do? I sued 4 law firms that Warner Brothers sent to sabotage me in my Rico, California case. I was trying to put them in jail. And it had already been investigated by the feds.
Wow.
It had already been validated by the U.S. Attorney's Office for prosecution. But they got paid off. The U.S. Attorney's Office got paid off. But under the Constitution, we can prosecute people on our own. That's why we have the Constitution. So if man doesn't agree with us, or the senators or the politicians doesn't agree, or the president, we can go and do our thing. What did the late Kennedy say? The power is with the people. The power has always been with the people. We don't need a king or a queen or a president or a czar or a count or any of these leaders to decide anything for us. We can make our own laws and rules. They are scared of the people. They're like puppets with a stick up their behinds. When you get that job for the government, when you retire out, you get that money forever.
Right. Pension.
That's right. But if you get any criminal or you die, there goes the money. You do any criminal act, you lose the money. You die, you don't have the money anymore. But if you make it to retirement, that money is over and over. The same salary now, not reduced. When you're president, who cares about $400,000 a year? You're making billion-dollar deals around the world with every kind of country. And guess what? America is no longer owned by the people. If you go and pull up the lands that are sold in America, it belongs to all of the countries. Guess what? America is never going to be bombed because all the countries own all the banks on Wall Street.
Wow.
That's right. Every country, go look at the banks, pull them up.
Yeah.
Look at the land that's bought here. They're hiding who all owns it. You're not going to bomb where you eat. You're not going to bomb what you own. Didn't you ever wonder why all the other countries are in war? But the Americans, the baby, have not been touched.
Yeah, no one's ever bombed us. Actually, Japan, but that's it.
Well, that was in 1946, 47. Come on. That was before America was owned by Japan. Japan has banks here now, so they're never going to bomb America.
Right.
Every country in the world have banks here. Do you remember the World Trade buildings and why it was bombed, the buildings?
No, why was it?
Because it had the World Exchange banks. Every bank on the World Exchange was in those two buildings. I'm a New Yorker. I was in one of the buildings. I still have a card from Windows of the World.
Wow.
Can you imagine having that card from that building? It's amazing, incredible. But look, that's why they were bombed. They were bombed because they were bombed from the bottom in the 90s. Go and look at the news. You are media. In 94, they bombed them from the bottom, but that would not make the top. Now, we're in Vegas, so we know how they blow up all these giant casinos. They're the size of the World Trade buildings. There's no way a plane is going to melt them. Have you ever been to New York? If you ever saw them in real time, there is no fuel on any plane that's going to melt steel like that.
Right.
They were exploding from up the top the same way you just saw the Tropicana being
demolished.
And what happens when they go, all this white dust comes from the explosion. Am I right on that?
Yeah.
And other buildings was blown away also because it's right in the vicinity. And the energy of a bomb is like, it knocks everything down. If you're flying in the air, even if you're a distance, because the energy coming off of it is telekinesis, telekinetic. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just telling you that America will never be bombed because everybody owns America. And look at all the people that are coming across the borders. And you say, what is that about? Well, look, Guzman is in jail, but he's still operating in jail. So what he's going to do? He's going to send some mules over and deposit $25,000 each and keep the clean money laundering, cleaning up the money, making it legitimate. Then you're going to have the terrorists. And what does the terrorists look like? They look like the people in America. So they're going to come across. Then we have sex trafficking. And what happens with sex trafficking? Free labor, because there's no such thing as slavery. There was never any slavery. How can it be slavery if Lincoln, the president, is a black man?
He was black?
Of course. Go pull up the Library of Congress and you see his picture in there. Why do you think he's on a copper penny? He's on a copper penny. There were several black presidents before Obama. Let me name them. Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, Lincoln, Hanson. He was the first Moore, M-O-O-R president. He's on the $2 bill. Look, Eisenhower, he's on a dime. You can Google it and pull them up and see their mixtures, what they're all mixed with. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. There are white-skinned people that are black, and there are black skinned people that are white.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with your DNA and your blood.
Right.
It's what your blood yields, not what your body. A skin is nothing but environmental, biological cover. Has nothing to do with you. So now let's go back to the people like I was telling you. They're all here. They got a purpose. They come here. But look at the distraction. This is the Matrix. I'm unplugging you out of the Matrix. I'm giving you knowledge where the light bulb is coming on because you're learning more than you've ever learned in school.
Oh, yeah.
So why do you need to go to school for 12 years?
To get programmed?
No, to get reinforced with the program. Because what you learn up until 6 years or from kindergarten, because some kids go to school at 2 and 3 years old.
Yeah.
All they're doing is reinforcing the program up to 12 years. Look at all the countries. They don't go to school in 12 years. Why are the Americans the only one going to school for 12 years? Because you're being reinforced. When you come out of the matrix, the womb, you come out with the knowledge of God. You already know what's going on. But when they put you into school, they're teaching you spells or spelling, curses or cursive. That's witchcraft. If I let you into a math class, you're going to be a co-creator with God. Because what happens? The architect creates with math. What is he doing? He's building the bridge. He's building the buildings. And what is the engineer doing? He's creating with math. What is he doing? He's creating the cars that he's drawn the blueprint on the assembly line. That's mind-boggling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you know math, hey, I just created this chair. I just created this table, this right here. I created it with math. I didn't create it with spells or spelling. I didn't create it with curses or cursive. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Everything can be explained with math, you're saying?
Everything is math. The universal language is math. Look at your address. Look at your license plates. Look at your driving license. Look at your social security number. They're math, aren't they?
No.
Look at how many miles you drive. Look at the timing before you have a wreck. It's all math. Why do a lot of people have wrecks? They're bad at math. How long is it going to take me to parallel park this car? That's math. What are we using? Quantum physics over at NASA to build space shuttles. What are we using? Ancient sacred geometry, calculus, because calculus is calculating. I have to calculate how long is it going to have me to stop at that stop sign. Do you see what I'm talking about? You think in terms of math, but no one is telling you you're operating on math because we have a ruler. We have a clock. We have a sundial. That's not spells. That's not cursing and cursive. That's mind-boggling, isn't it?
Yeah, that is trippy. Wow.
This is what the Matrix is revealing. The Matrix is revealing to you that everything you do is numbered from birth to death. The moment you come into the earth and the moment you leave the earth, you're taxed. You're taxed the moment you come in. Your parents are paying taxes at the hospital. When you leave out of here, you're paying taxes on your funeral, on your death, on your insurance policies, on everything. So what does spells and spelling and curses and cursive have to do with it? You are immersed in a world of math. The swimming pool is 15 feet. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's everywhere.
If I'm going to build a go-kart or a motorcycle, and how fast does it go? Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Got nothing to do with spells.
Yeah, I never use cursive.
Well, when you curse, it's cursive. It's just an elegant way of using cursive curses. And when you speak, look, out of thy mouth come life, and out of the mouth come death. And what do? You speak it because the tongue has no master, it's unruly. You must think before you speak because you could curse yourself, self-fulfilling prophecy, or you could bless yourself. But what's coming out of your mouth? Some people are speaking self-fulfilling prophecy, killing themselves. Some of them are blessing themselves in their mouth. I'm a winner. Oh my God, I'm going to die tomorrow. Who says these things? And look, the heavens is operated by vibrations, telekinetic, telekinesis, telekinetic energy, megahertz is influencing you every day. Sound is raising your consciousness or it's lowering your conscious vibrations.
Right.
You're speaking to the universe. The moment you speak, the universe is like a big genie. Now it's creating your reality because you're speaking your reality to it. It doesn't know about a joke. Oh, well, I was only joking. I'm not going to die tomorrow. I was just joking. Well, guess what? The universe doesn't know that you're joking. The moment you utter vibrations, we are living, vibrating energy. That's all we are, housed in a physical body because we're in a domain that is physical, the earth.
Right.
We're vibrating. If you could hear yourself vibrate or someone else vibrate, it would scare you. Now, you heard this before. Am I right on that
I've
or
heard
not?
this. Yeah, manifestation.
Right, but you didn't understand what it means. Look, when you're in a submarine, back in the day, the radar was making the noise. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And they were gauging objects by noises, pinging.
Yep.
And the more it pinged, the closer the object would get to the submarine. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that.
Because everything is vibrating. So now let's go to the old wiretapping. When we used to send wires out back in the cowboy days, what did they used to do? And somebody would be writing down the message from the wire. What are they doing? They're tapping. And the taps are determining, just like Braille, when you're blind and you touch on there, the little dots is reading.
Right.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And when we have, look at the wind is blowing out vibrations. And look at the noise, vibrations and energy that's affecting us. We see ourselves as physical bodies, but we're greater than any physical body. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because we're not the bodies. In us is the spirit, is the seed, and the transportation. And you say reincarnation doesn't exist?
I think it does.
I can prove it to you. There are people who were in the 30s that has already come back here. And guess what? They look the same.
Really?
I'm going to show you proof of it. And you're going to be like, oh my God, because they don't teach you this. You don't know what to look for. Do you see? You think reincarnation means someone left here and they came and they just started occupying a body, anybody. But no, they still look the same. And guess what? Say they used to be an actor back in the 30s, and that's all they knew. Well, guess what? They come back and become an actor again.
Wow.
And guess what? A phenomenal one, because they have all that experience in their memory chip. Did you hear what I said? They have all of that experience where they used to be lawyers. They still got all the memory chips of it. Where they used to be airplane pilots. Oh, I got shot out of you can hypnotize them. And they'll come back and say, well, I used to be a pilot in this past life and I was in this war and I remember getting killed in the plane. But what do? They come back and they're airplane pilots again. And they're prolific because the more lives they spent as airplane pilots, all of that is accumulated. Why you think some people are brilliant at what they do?
Right.
And others are not.
Yeah. Some people have natural talent, right?
Natural talents, natural gifts, natural discernment. Now, think about the gifts you got. You were born with these gifts. So where did they come from? And you know what they tell you? Well, your ancestor was probably a baseball player. Why you're prolific in baseball? Well, your ancestors probably was a basketball player or a scholar or a doctor. Because you're like, well, I know this, but I don't know how I know it. But when you look at the memory chip, this is what the Matrix is telling you. It's all inside of you. Accumulations of all the lives and all the existence and all the knowledge you accumulated. And what does God says? My people perish because of a lack of knowledge. They die because of what they do not know. And why are we multimillionaire and billionaires? Oh, right. Because I know something you don't know. And the more knowledge I have, the more wealthy I'm going to be upon the earth. It has nothing to do with who you are. A fat person can be rich. A crazy person can be rich. A kid can be rich. A dog can be a billionaire or multimillionaire, even if somebody leaves it to him. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with knowledge and how you apply knowledge. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because what does it say? A fool and his money will soon part. Because a fool doesn't know how to regulate or acquire or keep the money. Now, I can give you $1 billion, but if you're a fool or you don't have any knowledge, that money is going to disappear like you never had it.
Lottery winners.
People need to read those stories. Horrible stories, but true.
Yeah.
A lady won, I don't know how many millions. It could have been 50 million, but she went to the casinos and gambled it all away.
Wow.
So what was the purpose of getting $100 million if you're going to give it away?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what happens with some of them? People kill you for the money.
Yep.
All kind of horror stories, all kind of good stories. Because there's good and bad, right and wrong, red and blue pill.
Back to where we started.
Right, Matrix.
Yeah. When you Google your name, you get a bunch of haters calling you crazy. Have you noticed that?
I've seen all of it. You know what? Love me or hate me, I'm like Tupac. You're not gonna, you're gonna still buy me because every genius, every prodigy in the world has been called crazy. Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, Einstein, and I can go on and on. If someone is calling you crazy, you're in good company because you are either a prodigy or you're a genius.
Love it. Sophia, it's been fun. Anything you want to promote or close off with?
Yes, get the books. Get the books and see where the red and blue pill come from. Get the books where I'll be back, how I created the Terminator. Get the books and read it for yourself. Go to Amazon.com. They're right there. Anybody from around the world can order them. My website, Truth About Matrix or MatrixTerminator.com. Google Sophia Stewart. Get the books. And if you want the Matrix and you love the Matrix, you'll read these books and it's going to be more Matrix.
Love it. I'll check it out. We'll link it below. Thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, anytime. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thanks for watching, guys, as always. See you tomorrow.